trying to figure out my hair and helmet situation, but gonna try something for the first time today. I did this direction of Ridge Run once before, but I didn't arrive at the beginning. I had to like backtrack to go to the beginning. It's gonna be a while before I think I can ride it properly both directions, because the climb up is gonna be gnarly. So I'm gonna do something similar to last time, which is do Ridge Run, headed towards COP, take Lemon Orchard back up. We're at the base of that Lemon Orchard climb right before the finish there. And the way that I'm taking to Ridge Run, this is the part I haven't done before, taking this trail called Traverse, and then eventually it'll hang a left into, what is it called? Grunty? Grunty. I'm not looking forward to Grunty, but better than Judo Fish, which is a black. But if I take Grunty, then that will connect me to Ridge Run. Oh, still not quite at the beginning, but hopefully close enough. We'll see what happens, because trying to get to the beginning of Ridge Run from my area and the commute I'm taking apparently isn't as easy as I thought. Traverse, Grunty, we'll get to Ridge Run and have to ride a little bit to the beginning before we cut back, but we'll see. There are a gang of mosquitoes. Man, I gotta get moving. There's a gang of mosquitoes here. So I made it to the start of Ridge Run. We'll try to clean it this time. I'm gonna try this I don't know, this is the first time I'll be riding it after like exploring it. And there's a really crazy climb for me. There's this really steep climb that I doubt I'll make. So, but there is a little workaround, so I'll try that. I got here using, well, Lemon Orchard to traverse to Grunty. So Lemon Orchard, you turn right pretty quick to traverse, and then head to Grunty. Grunty was wild. Yeah. So, whatever way you find yourself here, there's a bunch of different ways you can get here. That's the way I took Grunty. A lot of roots. It's a little rough for a hardtail, and for a person like me, and my experience and stuff, it is labeled as a blue. I would say that's very fair. I would go as far as to say it's a little darker blue, just because there are some steep sections and the roots and stuff. Like, I almost biffed it a couple times. Oh my goodness, I'm getting eaten alive by mosquitoes. And yeah, Ridge Run is listed as a green, but again, there's a difference between the Lethbridge and Calgary, or at least this trail section of Calgary anyway. It's a darker green as well. So anyway, Ridge Run, holy crap, mosquitoes. Well, that was not as much fun as it could have been. Just a lot of stopping to check trail forks to see that I'm on the right trail and not missing turns, and wow, the whole different set of skills with the tree roots. And I've done that before in Sparwood and ferning a bit, but this is the rootiest stuff I have ever ridden, and it's just so relentless in some sections, like Grunty. But I just keep taking wrong turns and stuff, things that I thought I knew. And I realize now I would like to do Grunty again. I would like to attempt to clean it. I think I'll wear pads for that. but tire pressure too. Like, it was tacky, and I was still sliding down because it's a little muddy, and I'm like, I don't know what to do, because if I were to drive here, that'd be different. But I had my air pressure a little higher than I would normally. Yeah, like 3-ish, 3 to 4 psi, like higher than normal on the front and the back. But the back end was definitely not as grippy as I wanted it to be for those steep, rooty sections. So yeah, just different set of skills with like anticipating your tires sliding off of tree roots while you're riding at a certain angle. That's stuff I haven't had a lot of experience with. So yeah, I want to do grunty again, but this time I don't think I would ever ride Ridge Run from the beginning in this direction again. I think that the one climb is just impossible. The workaround that I tried, it's too sharp of a left turn. It's like a hairpin while it's steep, that there's no way I'm going to make it. So trying just to go straight up the steep part makes more sense, and then just get off, because there's no way I'll make that, I think, ever. But I haven't tried it going the opposite direction at all yet, so I'd like to try that. It's just quite a hike with my bike to go up, unless I have the stamina to do like 3 trails, go down, go back, or I guess 4, come back down and go back up again, which it'll take a long time to work up to that. Yeah, if I do like Lemon Orchard down, Ridge Run there, Ridge Run back, Lemon Orchard back up, but that, again, that's going to take a while, a long while, I think. But yeah, I don't know, I learned a lot. It was a learning ride. I'm going to try to make it back up the hill and go home. I want to be more timely with like vlogging some stuff, even if I don't show you the stuff, just to like talk about the stuff. I went to Fringe, Calgary's Fringe, and I didn't show any of it, and I could have. There were some artists that said like, yeah, you can as much camera and video, like pictures, video, whatever you want, just have your flash off. I didn't take any pictures, and I didn't take any video. But I went to 3 shows, and I definitely learned a little more about what I like and what I dislike about theater. And just like one-person shows that break the fourth wall often are not my favorite, or they're like in between. Like, I don't know how to explain it. I like, obviously I think it'd be really difficult to build a show around just you and not ever engage the audience because it's just one person. But I would prefer that than the amount of like interaction with the audience during some of it, and I wasn't expecting that. I'm still glad I went. They were like really cool, really good experiences, not just for me to learn from like what I like and what I dislike, but I mean, I got something out of both of the shows. And not saying that I wouldn't ever see something like that again, but I think I just have a different understanding now and can expect something different next time, and then make better decisions off of what I want to see based off of that experience. But yeah, went to Fringe. I learned that they only had an outdoor element in Calgary for Fringe the first year they did it, which was like 19 years ago. And then ever since then, they have not had an outdoor element. Sometimes there have been other like festivals, like Fun Fest or whatever in Inglewood, that have been coinciding with Fringe in the timeline, but it isn't a Fringe thing. So that's just really different compared to Saskatoon, where there's this huge outdoor element, and some people never go see a play. They're like, oh, I went to Fringe. Yeah, because you did. You went into like the street, like art, not just like the vendors, but like the performers and all that stuff that's going on. And you walked around and all the, you know, different vendors and like, again, selling art, food, whatever. But the street performers, it was a big draw for a long time. And I know that it's been getting smaller and smaller, which is just really unfortunate that the arts, that's just what's happening everywhere, probably. But even with Fringe in Saskatoon, that's been going on for quite some time. Folk Fest, same thing, just shrinking and shrinking. The amount of pavilions, the amount of times and days that it's offered is just not as big of a thing as it used to be. And anyway. So I saw Fringe, and that's what I was going to talk about. So there you go. I realized I haven't taken Ren to Edworthy for a long time, and she just hasn't been here in general for a while. There's not any great views from this section, but it's a beautiful dog park. Has some cool trails and treat areas and open field, and then exposure that has some really beautiful views of downtown and stuff. But yeah, she hasn't been here for a bit, so I thought I would take her. It's a beautiful day, and we have the time. She's enjoying it. Just doing a little outro for the vlog. So first thing, yeah, we got to see, or yeah, there's some biking in there, and then what? There's some biking, and then there's me talking about Fringe. I could have filmed some of it, and I didn't, and I regret that. And then, yeah, there's some of the kind of graffiti jam and like breakdance battles and stuff like that. YYC Bump hosted this event, or was part of putting the event together. It was really cool. I had a good time. And it was really, really interesting just to like see what that's like in Calgary, because I have not been to many of those things, period. But I have been to things like that in much smaller cities that were better attended. So I don't know. I think I think that gives opportunity not just to give feedback to the right people, but to maybe do my own work in that department so that these events are better attended and more people know about them. And I don't know all the methods of doing that, but I was kind of surprised at how the majority of people attending were actually people that were involved. I'm sure through the course of the day, a lot of come and go, right? I did like that there were no police there. I did like that. There's their own private security, but there weren't police anywhere around, and that was really nice to see that. So anyway, wrapping up the vlog, doing the outro, that's what I was doing. There's a conversation that I had like a week and a half ago, and I've decided I'm going to put it in the conversations playlist as well as the art process playlist. Now, that conversation was about quality versus quantity and how quantity can be quality in artwork, and how I feel about that and navigating that. I did post that video to Instagram as well. But I think with a lot of these conversations that I'm going to have around artwork, I'm going to start putting them in the art process playlist. I don't know if I'll put them in the conversation playlist anymore or not. It's really interesting just because, like, all these different categories of like playlists that I have, because I want to streamline. If you're here for biking, go to the raw rides. If you're here for these more reflective, introspective conversations, go to that section. If you want to see vlogging, there's that. If you want to see art process, it was very much about physical art process before, and I stopped doing that years ago. Where I've got, you know, an old like skate helmet, and I have like my GoPro like on that, like mounted on that, so you can see what I'm doing as I'm doing it. I haven't done that for a long time. It's kind of a pain. It's the reward, the payoff isn't there for me. The editing process, finding music, etc. It just kind of sucks. I don't like doing it, but I'm thinking of, well, I'm having more conversations about art, or when I do, I can put them there. And maybe I'll put them in both playlists always. It depends if I'm making like conversations that aren't art related in a week, and then those. So anyway, longer vlog, I guess, is what I'm guessing after the editing, because I can see this is over 8 minutes of me talking. I've got, I don't know how much footage of like the fest that I'm going to keep. I've got some biking stuff, like I mentioned too, talking about Fringe. So that was the other thing. I want to make a video about this later, but as I continue to vlog a little more, right now it seems like we're getting into like almost 2-week intervals, and it's hard for me to keep up with some stuff because I don't have the same amount of time or dedicated time or in the habit yet of doing this. And especially when it comes to the editing, the shooting is one thing, and it's a lot more fun than the editing is. And the editing can be more time consuming depending on what videos I'm doing, especially when there's music involved. So for raw rides and stuff like that. Anyway, there was one other really cool thing that I'm really excited about that I will share with you. And that is that when I was at this event, there was this like spray paint tent in the corner. It was just like covered with really thick canvas on all 4 sides of this little tent. And you could just stand and you could spray paint. You could sign up with your email and name and just like get a can of paint and just like try it out. And that was sponsored by, I don't know what words to use, by an art collective that I've never heard of before. And they're called Como se dice, which my Spanish is pretty brutal, but I'm thinking that translation is, how do you say? Or like, I don't think it's what did you say? That comes off a little different. And I didn't ask then, and I wish that I did, about like, oh, like where did that name come from? Como se dice, it's like, oh, how do you say? Like, that's how I'm interpreting it. But I think maybe literally it might be what. Because if you're like, como? Like, that's like, what? Like, pardon? Like, it might be, what did you say? And so I'm really curious about the origins of that, so I'll have to ask. But yeah, it was really cool. It was really interesting, and I got to talk to them a bit. They have like these workshops that have been around for a few years. Kind of started 3 years ago, I guess. They're on their second location now. Not that there's 2 different ones, but there's like a newer location that has a space that's more suitable for their needs. So they only have 1 location, but they've been together through a move, and I think that is something that is substantial. That they are growing and have more intention and purpose and doing a lot of this outreach work and stuff. So Como se dice, art collective, like Latinx art collective. I'm a little nervous about involving myself in community because I think that's really difficult for me. But especially, like, this is exciting, but it also makes me nervous just because I'm like, I don't know, like, how I'm going to get involved. If they have some gallery space there, they have space again to hold workshops and stuff, and I could be doing some instructing or teaching out of there. Once a month, I guess that they get together and they cook and they feed like unhoused folks. So I'm just curious about everything that they do. Like, it sounds really, really cool. I talked to the founder, and it just sounds like really cool. So if you're in the Calgary area or you just want to follow cool art stuff that is there for community, I mean, they're a registered nonprofit. Like, yeah, Como Sidisa. I'll put the link in the description of the video for their link tree and their Instagram and their Facebook. I'll put all those things in the description. But Como Sidisa, COMOSEDICE is how you would look them up if you're interested. But anyway, that's a long outro to the vlog. And I will be saying more in a segment that is called Behind the Curtain. I guess that's the other video this week. So in the past couple of weeks, there's some conversations. I'm doing those more regularly, so you can look out for those. And then there's going to be like a Behind the Curtain thing where I talk more about this live vlogging and what I'm doing with that project and just getting into more detail about that. So see you on another time.